Hey guys, this is Cashin with Cavaliere. This is going to be one of our newest segments where we're really going to be talking to people besides myself and understanding exactly what they've done inside their lives to start from beginning to where they are here today to surpass the problems that they found themselves with, whether it may be the family that they have at home that's keeping them at home, what hours they need to work, whatever obstacles that may be coming in front of them, to allow themselves to supersede that and allow themselves to give themselves and their families the lives that they're looking for by simply proceeding through the obstacles that every single one of us see on a day-to-day basis. And who I have here today is actually Mike Campanelli. He was a sales trainer of mine, and one of the best, if I must say so myself. You'll see it inside himself here when he talks. But is there anything in particular that you really want to start off by introducing yourself, or anything that you want to say?
Hey guys, I'm Mike Campanelli. I'm actually a sales manager for a company, a sales floor for about 80 plus agents. I've started off in sales all my life. Something I'm very passionate about, and helping people grow from the bottom up.
I love it. I love it. So with that being said, I mean, initially speaking, I mean, I know obviously you've done a lot to get here. Where exactly did you start from? Like, where is it that you originally consider yourself to be like your home?
My home.
Yeah, like when you were born. Like, where is it that you consider like?
So born and raised in Southwest Philly, beautiful suburban neighborhood. And then we grew up I grew up very poor actually. My mother and father, they were paycheck to paycheck type folks, and they were happy with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They were okay with that, and but they always complained about money. They always complained about some of the things that they couldn't do because they didn't have the funds and that kind of thing. But they weren't really willing to go the extra mile in making any changes necessarily. And then we moved out to somewhat of the suburbs in Delaware County, where actually I still live. So I'm a man of my roots anyway. Yeah, I mean, I've been a sales manager for the last 3 years. It's something that I love doing.
Excellent. And I mean, with that being said, I mean, like with what you love doing, I mean, what is it exactly that like is your passion? Like when you sit down, like obviously, like if you were to think about life being like a millionaire, like what is it that you would do tomorrow to make sure that today is worthwhile to you still being there?
To be a millionaire?
Yeah, like what did you do for fun to make sure that you're still living a fun life that
well,
you actually enjoy?
I think that's kind of a trick question, because I think if you're passionate about something, you're going to have fun regardless. And I think I have fun doing what I do on a daily basis. It wasn't necessarily easy, the steps into to get where I am today, but it was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of dedication, and I think it's something that you have to have a complete focus while you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that being said, I mean, with motivation on the topic, I mean, is there anything in particular that's really motivated you to supersede all of these obstacles that really happen from being from a poor family all the way to becoming able to support your own family?
Well, that's a good question. So growing up, I always wanted to be successful.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah. I didn't know what that meant necessarily,
yeah.
but I always wanted to be successful. I wanted to be a provider. I wanted to be. When I looked at success, I looked at somebody driving in a nice car, had a big house, that kind of thing, and I just wanted that. So it just inspired me to work hard for those things. Now I have different passions. I have different aspirations. I have a 2-year-old daughter. I have a wonderful woman at home. And those things are really true to my heart, to really provide for them. You know what I mean? And that's what really kind of keeps me going. And then also just coming into the company that I work for now, starting at the bottom, I really just want to be a part of growing that and doing right by my family.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, being through that, I mean, obviously I haven't been there that long, but right. I mean, still seeing what has happened just over the year and a half that I've been there is absolutely incredible, and knowing the fact that you were part of that foundation is absolutely wonderful, and I can't imagine how it feels to be a part of it. But with that being said, I mean, is there anything that you would really recommend, or something that you recommend initially to your team that you would really think that they should make sure that on a day-to-day basis they really implement into their own lives to not only succeed in their life, but on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I would disagree with the first statement, because I think you are a big part of our success at the company for what you do. But my thing would be practice. Practice makes perfect, some say. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? So you could practice something all day long and not really have the right mindset, the right frame of mind to do those things, the right talents, lead yourself in the right direction. If you practice those things that you realize were flaws and sort of turn them into something positive, everybody's going to be successful. You're going to get what you want.
I love that. And actually, when I was a kid, I tried out for the basketball team, and one of the kids that I tried out with was actually the star basketball kid. He won the Gatorade whatever sponsorship there in 2014. Yeah, I'm young. So with that being said, like he tried out with me, but every time he like went to go and do something, he did the thing that he knew he would absolutely be the absolute best at it. And of course, I'm not that great at basketball, my man can't jump. So with that being said, like I wasn't as good as he was, and I also didn't know what my strengths were. So I wasn't able to showboat the things that I was able to showboat, because I didn't know what those were, whereas he was able to shine in the light because he knew exactly what would go in and what wouldn't.
And then he had the talent to back it up.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you have the talent to back it up when it's a spot, when it's just a random thing that they throw the ball and then you have to go again.
Yeah.
So I love that, absolutely. And I mean, going further from that, is there anything that you would recommend to people watching here that they should make sure that they do as soon as they wake up tomorrow before they start their next day, to make sure that not only do they follow their passions, but that they're allowed to actually succeed in making their passion be a huge part of what they do on a daily basis?
I think what's really important, in my opinion, is to find that routine. Everybody has probably a morning routine, quote unquote, but if it's not a routine that's going to set you up for the things that you want, and I'm not saying, hey, we all want certain things now, right? We all want those things, and like, hey, I want to take a vacation next week. I want to take a vacation next year. What do you want for your future? What do you want 10 years from now? What do you want 20 years from now? And if you focus on those things, I think that your day-to-day, if you can incorporate that in your routine, that you'll certainly be much more successful than you are if you worry about the near future versus the long-term future.
I love that. In fact, actually, if you guys were watching my video just the other day on Tuesday, a huge part of that was law of attraction, which is pretty much exactly what he's saying. Whatever you want 20 years from now, you have to be thinking about today. You have to be making sure that every action that you're taking is inflection of that, and making sure that that's coming to fruition for you in that time frame, if not sooner. And just simply by doing that is just like what he said, and just making sure that you are focusing on that and maintaining that accountability to yourself.
Yeah, so many people, they say they want success, they want this, they want that, they want to move up in an organization, they want, and then you find out they're spending a lot of time at the bar, or they're spending a lot of time, kind of watching TV on the couch on a Saturday morning. Those things are not going to help you get to the next level or get to where you want to be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. In fact, actually, when I started working, what was it, my second day, and I started working for you, Luke Akery walked in, and then the president of the company walks inside, and then he goes, all of a sudden he goes, so what is it exactly that you know about real estate and repeat and referral business? And I said, honestly, I don't know too much. And he goes, well, then how do you expect to make $100,000 this year knowing absolutely nothing about the business that you just got a job for? Well, I didn't have an answer, so, because he was 100% right. You can't expect to do anything in life if you don't know absolutely anything about what it is you're trying to do. At the end of the day, and one of my favorite quotes that is obviously not a personal friend's quote, because it's been a long-lasting quote for years, but the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result out of it the next time you do it. Nothing's ever going to change because it would have changed already. You wouldn't be getting that result if you were doing the right process, or you were going through and making those changes properly. So I think that's very important to really be able to implement.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one thing I definitely wanted to make sure I brought up today was when I first initially, we went to a Tony Robbins seminar together, and I remember before we were talking about it, we were kind of like a little bit more iffy about the situation and how it was really going to impact when we went back to work.
Right.
Is there anything in particular about the motivational speaking kind of view that the majority of people have that really turned you off about it before you had the opportunity to visualize it?
So I don't know that I guess it did turn me off in a sense. I just thought that, a person that needed motivation in their life was somebody that didn't have character.
Yeah.
There was something about somebody that needed somebody else to motivate them that I felt that they were a loser, and that's so far from the truth. When we went to the event, the Tony Robbins event, I realized that some of the things that he was saying, I already do. And I realized that I don't do them enough. He's big on managing your state of mind. And I think that, I get a lot of props and I get a lot of compliments in my own life and in my work that, oh, you're such great energy, you're such a positive influence. And I got to tell you, I'm just as you and anybody else out there that, can get negative and can get down on themselves. I hit the snooze button every morning, right? Don't tell Luke that. But at the end of the day, I think that you have the ability. Everyone has their ability to really manage their state of mind. You have the ability to manage whether you're upset. You have the ability to manage whether you're happy. You have the ability to manage whether you're negative or positive. And if you focus on that and kind of think before you react, so to speak, it could do big things for any of us.
I love it. And is that like one of the big things that you noticed, that like when you were at Tony Robbins, like seeing him live and seeing really how he affected the crowd? I shouldn't even say affected, I should say infected the crowd, because he really did. He snuck up inside every single person inside that building. There was probably, what, 1,000 people inside there?
There was 5,000.
There's 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
But like every single person on that floor not only was jumping every time he said jump, but they stayed jumping until he clapped his hands together and started talking again.
Right.
It was the most absolutely amazing feeling in the world to be not only just with yourself, but to know that everybody else is on the exact same plan that you are, and they're all following along with you.
And the thing about that is not one person in that building felt cheesy, felt corny in any way. And in my opinion, before experiencing something like that, I would say that was something that's corny, something that's cheesy, something I don't need in my life. Everybody needs that in their life.
I absolutely agree with you. When I first, what movie was it? Yes Man. I first saw Yes Man, and I was like, wow, this is really like a messed up message to give to people, that they need to go to something like this to be told to say yes in life. Which is, I mean, like, who doesn't want to say yes? I mean, like, then we go and see all the introverts that are out there in the world that really just, at the end of the day, you need to drag them to the party. Once to the party, you don't even know what's going to happen now. But I mean, like, that thought process I always thought was kind of like that loser kind of mentality that you would need to have to need to go to something like that. And here I am coaching these people that I know to the core aren't losers. They're people that have just kind of overseen their own potential. I know for a fact that growing up, I was told consistently, you have so much potential, you're just wasting. But to someone that doesn't see their own potential, how could you honestly believe that you're wasting it?
Yeah.
So I feel like those type of things are so beneficial, and that's why my posts on everything that I do I try to make sure that I can really attack everybody in a generic variable to allow themselves to isolate it down to themselves. And I think that's something that people really need in their lives, to be able to maintain that.
I think it's great what you're doing, because a lot of people do need that guidance in their life. A lot of people want certain things, and they just don't know the right way of going about how to succeed in getting those things, or how to accomplish those certain goals. Some people don't even have goals, and I think that's probably one of the worst mistakes any human could have.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, without goals, I mean, think about monkeys. Like they walk around and they find these little coconuts and they crack them on giant rocks, and like they have a plan on day to day. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna find my family, and I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. And to not have that same type of plan, but rather I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go to my work, try to make sure that I make it through the day, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna sleep as long as possible.
Right.
Like, there's nothing else that you're doing for yourself besides that paycheck. There's no benefit that you're really getting besides the mindless spending you're gonna spend to forget about the mindless work you do all day. And without going really off topic here, but I mean, kind of to wrap things up, is there anything that, like, I've kind of asked it once before, but is there anything really that you would suggest, or you would really tell people that it's almost vital to do to make sure that they're able to not only find themselves to be able to take the steps that you've taken to be where you are, to continue stepping forward to where you're going to continue to be, but what would you say to them is the most important thing to make sure that when they start tomorrow, they continue to start continuously?
That's a good question. I think there's probably a lot of things. I guess to sum it up, I guess I would say to find what it is that makes you happy. I mean, don't just chase something like money. Although money's good, and I do chase money on a daily basis, and that's because I want to provide for my family.
Yeah.
And my family is what makes me happy. Seeing the things that I can provide for them, seeing the things that I can provide for my daughter's future, and those kinds of things. That's what makes me happy. So that's what makes me get out of bed in order to work as hard as I do and to make the money that I want to make. And I'm not even near completed with that task. So
absolutely,
there's always room to improve, no matter who you are. Michael Jordan, he practiced every day. He shot the ball the same way every single time at the free throw line. So there's always room for improvement for all of us.
And he let down his team more times than he would ever want to, but he knows that those are always the moments that allowed him to get better.
Correct, yeah.
And one last question I have for you. I don't want to keep you here all day.
No, fine.
But I mean, with that being said, just because I know how good you are at sales and how much you've influenced me as a salesman, I mean, is there anything that you would really suggest to the people that are watching that are really focused on sales at this exact moment, and that's their career, to really make sure that they're able to make that next step, not only to get a promotion, just to make sure that they're able to hit that next tier maybe in their paycheck?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. I think that you have to have confidence. You've got to be passionate. no matter what it is that you do. If it's phone sales, if it's face-to-face, if you're not someone who's enthusiastic and passionate about what they do, you're not going to succeed. I don't know, I'm sure some of you know Jordan Belfort. There's 3 things that he says really to make a good first impression that you really need to solidify. And those 3 things I really live by and I train on as well. And one is being sharp as a tack. If you're not as sharp as possible, you just reek this aura about you that people just want to hear your voice. They want to be in your presence. You're not going to succeed. If you're not excited, if you're not enthusiastic about what it is you're selling, what it is that you're doing, you're not going to be able to engage with people. And then the third thing I think is most important, and it's something that you brought up a little earlier, that the president almost let you go there, but it's being an expert in the field that you're working. If you're not an expert in what you're doing, your prospects will not be able to feel comfortable and confident that you can take them to the next level.
Absolutely. Much like most real estate agents have to feel like they're in control and comfortable and confident in their status to be able to make sure not only that they can tell them they're going to sell the house that they want, but also be able to help them buy the house of their dreams.
You got to ask questions too. I mean, if you don't ask questions, you don't know some of the problems that your prospect is facing. So therefore, you can't provide solutions to those problems. So if you ask questions, not only from a human psychology sort of side of things, people like to talk about themselves.
Absolutely.
And they like to look at themselves in the mirror. Right? I know you looked at yourself in the mirror and you said, oh, man, it's a nice shirt I'm going to wear today. So if you have those things in mind, you're going to be successful. You're going to be successful.
Absolutely. And one thing that I suggest to everybody that I work with personally is if you're not feeling confident or you're not feeling in a good mood, look yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself. Know that you're freaking amazing. Then make a funny face at yourself to a point that you can't stop laughing. Now you got the right mindset and you can head back out there onto the floor. Now, Mike, I got to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to sit with you.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. Once again, guys, this is the newest segment. We're going to start doing this every Thursday, 8 o'clock. We're going to be releasing these. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what it is exactly or who it is that you would really like me to talk with, and we'll be more than happy to get that going. Thanks again.